طيب إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن صار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. And continuing going through Bulugh al-maram. And according to the English, we're on hadeeth number 12. The Arabic is hadeeth number 16. It mentions عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا وقع الذباب في شراب أحدكم فليغمسه ثم لينزعه فإن في أحد جناحيه داء وفي الآخر شفاء. أخرجه البخاري وأبو داود وزاد وإنه يتقي بجناحه الذي فيه الداء. So this hadith, the Prophet Muhammad mentioned, if a fly falls in the drink of any of you, then let him immerse it, i.e. push it into the drink, and then remove it. For indeed in one of its wings is a disease, and in the second is the cure. Of the thing that's mentioned regarding al-dhubab, subhanAllah, the fly is of the weakest insects, the most detested of them, and the fastest to die of them. Allah mentions in the Quran, يا أيها الناس ضرب مثل فاستمعوا له. O mankind, an example has been set, an example has been given, so listen to it. إن الذين تدعون من دون الله لن يخلقوا ذبابا ولو اجتمعوا له. Here Allah mentions that indeed those who you call upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would never create a fly even if they all came together. Now, if all of those that you call upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to come together for the purpose of creating a fly, they would not be able to do so. And this is regarding the idols that they were worshipping. وَإِن يَسْلُبْهُمْ الذُّبَابُ شَيْئًا لَا يَسْتَنْقِذُوهُ مِنْ ضَعُفَ الطَّالِبُ وَالْمَطْلُوبُ. Now I mentioned if the fly should steal anything, yani from that which you give it, like they presented food to the idols, their statues, the flies will take this. They could not prevent this or recover that which was taken by the fly. That which is being pursued and the pursuer are both weak. That which you worship besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the one who is worshipping, they are both weak. So even the mosquito, a type of fly that Allah has given example of within the Quran, إن الله لا يستحي أن يضرب مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها. Allah is not shy to set an example by way of the mosquito, so what about that which is greater than this? Also, the hadith that mentions if the dunya was equivalent to the the wing of a mosquito, Allah would not give a kafir a drink of water. But the dunya means nothing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But here, so we have examples that's given. Regarding the fly when it's mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for this hadith, the author rahimahullah wanted to clarify that the dead fly is not impure. Laysat bi najisa. That the dead fly is not impure. And that's why if it fell into something that was a drink of milk, of water, or soup, or tea, or coffee, or other than this, then a person should immerse it in, and as in one wing is a disease and the other one is the cure. And that is not, the person shouldn't leave the fly in there. They should remove the fly. But one shouldn't throw away the whole drink. One shouldn't throw away the whole drink. Obviously, any circumstances, some are more scornful than others. But one shouldn't throw away the whole drink. Rather, if you saw the fly in there, you should push it in and then take it out. And most likely when the fly falls into the drink, it's going to die immediately. Now, and when he mentions في أحد جناحي, in one of his wings is a disease, يعني مرض, a sickness. وفي الآخر شفاء, and the other is a cure. What's mentioned if the fly was going to fall, it would incline with the wing that has the disease before the one that has the cure. And that's why a person should push it in to the drink, because the disease, the wing that is likely to be the wing that is more inclined. As for the lower wing, would be the wing that has the disease. But it mentions يَأْتَقِي بِجَنَاحِهِ الَّذِي فِيهِ الدَّاء, because when the fly is falling, it seeks protection from the wing that has the disease on it. So if it's falling, it knows it's falling, for example, for whatever reason, it would incline towards one side. So that side that will fall into the drink first would be the side of the wing that is got the sickness. That's what they mentioned. So if you were to remove that fly before immersing it into the drink, then you will have a drink with a disease without a cure. So that wouldn't be something befitting for a person to drink. However, if you was to immerse it into the drink, then that disease will be met with the cure, so the disease will be removed. Then there's no harm that comes from that drink. And what's mentioned, from what is known, some drinks are hot. So if it was to fall into coffee or tea and you was to push the fly in, then it will die straight away.
It's gonna be melts in the coffee.
No, it won't melt. It won't melt. However, Allahu Alam if it's from a scientist's perspective, because it's mentioned in hadeeth, so it's known by way of Allah informing the Prophet ﷺ that. So, in this situation now, if the dead fly was najis, impure, the whole drink will become impure. Now, because it is something small. It's a small amount of drink.
Yes, صحيح.
Naam, so it will become impure. If we said that the fly was najis, but it's not the case. The fly is not najis. The dead fly is not najis.
Sorry, Ustad, but insect maybe not just because suck blood. But
Lala, we spoke about this regarding al-jarad. Naam, that doesn't have running blood. A mosquito is different. It's not dhubab. فيه أضرار. نعم, because ينقل الأمراض. Diseases they transfer but because of mosquitoes. No. What's your question?
Oh, sorry. Should we keep the questions to the end, or is it okay to?
No, you can ask.
Okay. Regarding the fly that lands on, like that lands on najis, we don't pay attention to that.
If you saw it land on najis, like let's say I saw a fly land on
Yeah.
just
any poo, for example, and then come in my drink, khalas, the drink's gone. But that's because you saw it. But if you didn't see it, then it's not based on speculation or possibly now. No. No. So that the benefits mentioned from this hadith, the perfection or completeness of Allah's ability in creation. As something like a fly that is considered to be so insignificant, yet none has the ability to create this other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came with purification or medicine of the heart and cures from the disease of the hearts, he also came with medicine of the body, the physical body. As you'll find in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, there's examples of giving advice or prescription of specific any medicine or things to be taken as a means of treatment for various diseases. Also, as we know, the Prophet ﷺ was illiterate, could not read or write. So where did this knowledge of medicine come from? Other than wahi, revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was mentioned this example of the disease and the cure in the wings of the fly is something that has only been discovered medically recently, but was known by way of the Sunnah from a very long time ago. And there are many situations like this where we find things that are known by way of the Quran and the Sunnah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that scientists have only claimed to have known of recent times. Or some scientists have embraced Islam based on the fact that some things that they thought things are treated with their opposites as a medical principle. So what does that mean? For example, if a person is suffering a fever, then they are to be giving something that makes them cool down. Something that would cool down, as it came in the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, al-humma min fayhi jahannam fabriduha bil-ma'. The al-humma, the fever, is from the the Fahi Jahannam, from the blowing of Jahannam. So cool it down with water. So also, as you mentioned, for example, Sheikh Athi mentioned, and that's of the things that has been observed of recent times in some medical practices. When a person has a fever, they would place the sick person at a cool, pure, with pure air conditioning to cool them down. Or the things that we knew as well from back home is using a cold flannel. A cold flannel. Also, it clarifies that the flies, when they're dead, they are pure, they're not impure. And that is what is evident from the statement of the author, right, using this hadith. Also, what's mentioned, for example, if a person dislikes to drink it after seeing the fly in it and pushing the fly in it, then there's no problem that they can leave it. They don't have to drink it. They don't have to drink it. And that is because the Prophet ﷺ left off things that were halal because he disliked it. It wasn't appealing to him. And as the example of the lizard. Now, he mentioned لم يأكل منه فقيل له أحرام هو يا رسول الله. When he did not eat from it, he was asked, is it haram يا رسول الله? He said لا ولكنه ليس بأرض قومي فأجدني أعافه. Yani he mentioned it's not from the land of my people. It's not something that's known to us. So he excused himself. He left of something that was halal. So it also goes to show that not every action of the Prophet Muhammad is to be taken as a means of sunnah. So one shouldn't say now it's sunnah to not eat lizard. That would be incorrect. A dub. So for a person to say, I'm not going to eat it because the Prophet left it off, that's sunnah, then this is incorrect. This is not an example of something being sunnah.
Is it halal?
No.
That's just his preference.
Yeah. He said, حرام هو? Said, لا لكنه ليس بأرض قومي. He said, no, it's not haram. But it's not from the land of my people. No.
لسه غير ابو بريس طبعا، بس الفهم في ابو بريعصي اللي يمشي على الحيطه، هذا شو اسمه؟
Gecko.
ها؟
Gecko.
so lizard is big.
Yeah, lizard is big one.
In the desert.
As for the gecko, then that's how you kill those.
Yes.
No.
That's still a lizard though.
Yeah, you kill them. They were the ones blowing the fire against Ibrahim. In Kuwait, when I was studying there, we used to have scores. Because on the big buildings, you take off our sliders and one strike down. It's tiny though. It's yeah.
Not here, not in UK, in Hood country.
Yeah.
But the other one he's talking about is in the.
I didn't say it's not actions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I said this is not every action of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this action of leaving off something halal doesn't mean this is sunnah to not eat lizard. We're talking about something specific. No.
Different, but different. That one dub is different.
Dub is like a bigger lizard.
Like a Komodo dragon.
It's sort of like similar stuff like
But
this.
not walk in the wall.
Chicken is good.
No, that cockroach, small not cockroach. This
No, definitely not cockroach.
not
Allah
cockroach.
understand.
تمساح شو اسمه التمساح.
Crocodile.
Crocodile. Like a crocodile, but smaller, with hand, ugly face, like this. In the jungle we find in the
It's like big lizards.
right. Badu, they eat it.
What?
Badu in Arab,
Bedouin.
Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
Like these kind of lizards.
Some they eat it.
Oh, yeah.
Allah al-Musta'an.
Yeah, some people they have different preferences, as we know. Some people eat many things that Allah Musta'an you would not even think twice about. But yeah. Allah Mabarak. Can you imagine going to a walima? Some rice and they give you that. Allah Musta'an. MashaAllah. But in some places that might be delicacy. They might have that turning on the roast, like, you know, the chicken, like that, spinning. But yeah, the Prophet didn't eat it because it was not appeasing to him and not appealing to him. But he did not say anything about it, he just left it. He just left it.
Maybe because of faqr, teacher. Faqr, poor. When people poor, they can eat anything available.
Sometimes, but at the same time, sometimes this might not be cheap though. It's just preference, like. In some places they eat different things. It looks meaty.
It might be sweet too. And like, you know how they say rabbit? Sweet? Rabbit meat.
Rabbit in Egypt.
Yeah.
Like cat.
It might taste nice. We could try it.
Some people eat rabbit, yeah. But then some people will be like, I don't find it appealing. Like someone here might have said, no, I grew up with rabbits in my house as a pet. So to see someone eating rabbits, they'd be disgusted by it. You see? But yeah, the thing is, it's matters that are, the things that are halal, the Prophet didn't eat himself. So what is the approach when it comes to things that were not appealing to the Messenger of Allah? What did he do? He would not eat it, he would just leave it. He would excuse himself and that's it. One shouldn't speak bad of the food and just praise the food and the likes. Like if something doesn't please you, you say, Khalas, alhamdulillah. It's not for me. And that's it.
It's not from bad manners to like, if you are served a dish that you don't know what it is, to ask what
Yeah, I've had to do that. I've been some places and you have to ask because you'll find out that, I'm definitely not eating that. It's not because I don't like it, I don't even want to find out if I like it. There's a difference of that as well because, again, people eat different things. That's a part of culture, you learn, you see. And for example, like, for me, if for the first 13 years, by not choice, I was vegetarian, not by choice. Now to transition to meat, when I became Muslim, like, it's just, like, the transition, at first it's like, for example, seeing all that fat on a lamb is like, whoa, that's overwhelming. But after a while, you become used to it. But the first stage, you might be like, nah, I can't stomach it because I'm not used to it. Not that I don't like it, but your mental image of a food, because it's new to you. For example, I've gone some places, mashallah, all that seems like being removed from the lamb is the skin. You can see all the fat. You see, and that's for them. It works like that. They mix it with the rice and they eat it. For them, they like it. But for some people, they're like, yeah, I can't eat that. Again, it's preference. But it's just, what do I do in those situations? Do I say something or do I just excuse myself? Just excuse oneself and that's it. For example, some people eat chicken foot, cow foot, camel foot. They eat these things. If it's not for you, then just say, yeah, it's not for me, khalas. Oxtail at one stage was like a poor man's food, but now it's become a delicacy in the Caribbean cuisine. But at a time, that was because they weren't given no meat; they were given the tail. I said, that's what you deserve, like in slavery and the likes. But now it's something that people queue up for. You see, or some people are like, hold on, it's a tail though. There's no way I'm eating a tail because the tail of an animal is close to another part of the animal. They have these mental psalms that turn them off from certain things. So yeah, but that's mashallah, that's the lizard, the kind of thing that some people ate. As for things that are considered to be impure, though, is like mice. They are impure.
ينجس هل الماوس ينجس يعني إذا
No.
مشى على السجادة تصير نجسة؟
لا. What the Prophet say, يعني النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال في فأرة إذا سقطت في السمن, and that's like fat, like butter, pure butter. It says فماتت قال ألقوها وما حولها ثم كلوها. He said get rid of it, like throw that part, throw the mouse and whatever was around it, and then you eat what remains. So you get rid of the mouse and the surrounding area of that food, and then you can eat what remains.
What's that? Is that the hadith about falling into the fat?
Now,
Oh.
but it said as for the fly, the Prophet never said this. So in that regard, with the fly, it doesn't affect anything. However, it's just the reality of. They said there's some like insects and stuff, they don't have blood. Like a scorpion. If you step on a scorpion for blood, nothing.
Poison.
In the sting only. It's only if it comes out. It doesn't just come out. You see?
Okay, it doesn't come except before.
With the sting. Yeah.
But that's also another animal you get rewarded to kill. Scorpion.
You are to kill a scorpion now. Scorpions to be killed. Mice as well. It's impure because it came in the Sharia that's impure. In the hadith it mentions it's impure, so it's impure. No. The rats and the likes are from the fawaysiqa. Yeah, the evil things, they will like knock down candles and stuff, these kind of things. Cause fires in the house. They're known to be from the fawaysiq. Now, the next point that's mentioned, the next hadith, or as a principle, you can take a summarized principle. كل حيوان ليس له دم يسيل إذا جرح فميتته طاهرة. Any animal, including insects, if it's wounded and there's no blood that flows, it's tahira, it's pure. Whereas anything else, whatever has blood that flows, then its deceased is najis. So anything that has blood doesn't flow, when it dies it's pure. Anything that has flowing blood, when it dies it's impure. Also in the last hadith of this bab, it mentions وعن أبي واقد الليثي رضي الله عنه قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما قطع من البهيمة وهي حية فهو ميت أخرجه أبو داود والترمذي وحسنه واللفظ له. So what's mentioned, whatever is severed from an animal whilst it is alive, then that is considered mayyit. The part that has been cut off is considered to be mayta. So that means it's not allowed to be eaten. No. So even if it's halal, yeah. Except for, so for example, he mentions whatever was severed from a fish or a locust, then it is pure because the deceased of it is pure. And whatever is severed from a person, then it is pure because the deceased of Adam, then a human, is pure.
لوكس شنو لوكس؟
جراد.
أو سوري
لا بأس. As for ما قطع من الشاة والبقرة والبعير فهو نجس لأن ميتة هذه نجسة. And whatever is like severed from a sheep, a cow, or a camel, then that becomes impure because the carcass meat of that is impure. The carcass meat, the carrion, is considered to be impure.
What's the word you used? Mayyit? Is that what you just
Yeah, mayyit.
هل ينطبق هذا على صوف الخروف؟ لأن البعض
لا هذا ليس
ما ينطبق
اللحم.
عليه.
ولا الجلد.
أوكي.
نعم. يتفرع عنه. هذا الشيء ثاني. Mentions, for example, إذا قطعت يد السارق مثلا, if the thief's hand is severed, for example, فاليد طاهرة, the hand is pure. Just like if a person dies, the deceased body is pure. However, do you pray over the hand because it's deceased? Then the answer is no. As long as the rest of the body is alive, i.e. the body that the hand was severed from, you don't pray janazah over the hand if the rest of the person is still alive.
هل تدفن يد السارق؟
الله أعلم. هذا يحتاج زيادة في البحث، لكن لعله،
أعتقد.
لكن يدفن ليس يعني على صفة الجنازة بس يعني. نعم. But the main thing is to understand why is this chapter mentioned in the chapter of water? It mentioned because it mentioned if a hand was cut off during a person's life from the animal, for example, it is from an animal that is pure, then it falls in water and it changes the water, then the water doesn't become najis, it just becomes pure, but not a means of purifying. So if we talk about the types of water, if we say based on 3 types of water, now because this hand that has been severed from the animal has fallen in this water, if it's from an animal that's pure, the water is pure, but you cannot make wudu or ghusl with it.
ما فهمت أستاذ بالعربي.
يعني طاهر.
شو القصة؟
إذا كان اليد قطعت من حيوان في حال الحياة من حيوان ميتته طاهرة، فإذا سقطت هذه اليد في الماء وتغير
لونه،
نعم يعني إحدى أوصافها، لم يكن الماء نجسا.
إذا كان المفترس،
لا نتكلم عن هذا، بس نركز على هذا فقط.
إذا واحد
لا بس يعني نركز على الصفة الصورة.
إذا انقطعت إيده
من حيوان ميتته طاهرة في حال الحياة، يعني لم يكن ميت، وسقطت في الماء وتغير الماء بسبب وقوعها فيه، لم يكن الماء نجسا، يكون طاهرا، ليس طهور ولكن طاهر، لا يجوز استعماله للتطهر يعني الوضوء أو الغسل، لا، لكن لرفع النجاسة لا بأس. نعم. لا هو واضح
يعني الحيوان اللي مات انقصت يده ولا
لا ما قلنا مات.
من اللي انقصت يده؟
قطعت يد. لا هذا لا يهمنا،
يعني
هذا ليس له علاقة بالحكم. خلي هذا خذ الصورة على هي كيفيتها. قطعت يد حيوان في حال الحياة وميتته طاهرة، خلاص. إذا سقطت هذه اليد في الماء، ما حكم الماء؟
الماء طاهر لكن ليس طهور.
نعم هذا هو سهل، هذا هو
ما نتوظف.
نعم لا يجوز الوضوء فيه لأنه تغير بطاهر.
نعم
ليس بنجس.
يعني تقصد مثلا خروف مش قطة،
أي شيء ميتته يعني طاهرة. إذا كان ميتته نجسة فالحكم على الصفة، لا نتكلم في
ميتته طاهرة السمك والجراد.
نعم فهذا هو خلاص.
أوكي.
يعني إذا كان if it was the foot or the hand of a sheep, even if it's done whilst alive, if it falls in the water it becomes impure because the deceased of the sheep, the baqar, the camel is impure. نعم هذا هو. So it's just understanding, okay, maybe this might not ever happen in a situation for us. But if it did happen, for example, if we was living in a place where we had a lake or something, or a small spring of water, and we had some cows or some sheep and stuff, and something happened, it hit a sharp object, his arm came off and fell in the water. What happens? The animal's still alive. Now, so that's why it's mentioned in this. No. But again, it mentioned the types that of the whatever is from the likeness of fish and locusts, like grasshoppers and that, then these are the things that when they are dead, they are still pure. Also, humans, they're still pure. As for other than this, then no. Like sheep, cows, camels, they're deceased, the carrion, the carcass meat of it, is not pure. This is different than when, for example, when it's slaughtered and the blood is spilt out. هذا شيء ثاني. This is different. No. So obviously, sometimes it's just showing the relationship between this hadith and the chapter of water. Why is this hadith mentioned when it seems like it was apparent? It has nothing to do with water. But in terms of the ruling of something being najis or not, then that is what has an impact on the water. I.e., if it falls in the water, ma hukm al-ma. Then we have the next chapter, which is Bab al-Aniya. We'll mention the first hadith and then continue from the next lesson, inshallah ta'ala. It mentions عن حذيفة ابن اليمان رضي الله عنهما قال قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تشربوا في آنية الذهب والفضة ولا تأكلوا في صحافها فإنها لهم في الدنيا ولكم في الآخرة. الحديث متفق عليه. So Bab al-Aniya, this is the chapter of utensils. Utensils, okay? Plates, cups, all of this cutlery, all of these things that we use for food and drink and storing of food and drink. Anything under the meaning of utensils. Now, the first thing that is mentioned in this hadith is the prohibition of eating and drinking from gold and silver utensils, whether it's spoons, knives and forks, and cups and plates. All of this is not to be used by the Muslims, male and female alike. Rather, it's prohibited. As la tashrabu is a prohibition. Now, ولا تأكلوا في صحافها, in the trays. And sihaf, some say it's that which suffices 5 people, i.e., like those big dishes and the likes. None of this is to be eaten from. For indeed it is for them in the dunya, i.e., for the kuffar. It doesn't mean it's permissible for them, i.e., but this is for them. They have chosen these things and given preference to these things in the worldly life. And it's for you, i.e., Ahl al-Iman wal-Islam fil akhirah. It's for you to benefit from and enjoy in the hereafter. So the things that has been prohibited is eating and drinking anything from a gold, silver utensil. Whether it's a pot, a teapot, any of this. He mentions, and that's because it's for the kuffar in this life. Based on the ayah, Allah mentions, يَتَمَتَّعُونَ وَيَأْكُلُونَ كَمَا تَأْكُلُ الْأَنْعَامُ وَالنَّارُ مَثْوًى لَهُمْ. because they enjoy and they eat whatever they want, just like the animals eat. And the fire for them is going to be their place of refuge. The fire will be their place of refuge. That's Surah Muhammad number 12. Surah Muhammad number 12. No. So one is not to be lenient with these things. One is, especially when it comes to some people when they decorate their homes and the likes, they will have gold and silver utensils. Some say there's a difference of opinion regarding having them as decoration if you're not going to eat from them. Because it mentions here, it doesn't say to store them. It only mentions don't eat and drink from them. So, Wallahu ta'ala alam, that's all the things that is mentioned, inshallah. As we go along in this chapter of utensils, we'll further clarify matters related to that. But for now, of the things that one is to know, if one was to eat and drink from utensils that are from gold and silver, then they are falling into that which is haram, based on the prohibition of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It mentions there's no evidence in the Quran or Sunnah prohibiting eating from any vessels other than gold and silver. If it's fake gold and silver, it's not gold or silver. We're not talking about the color, we're talking about gold and silver as the metal. So it mentions there's no evidence about any prohibition regarding utensils except for gold and silver, eating from them and drinking from them. Whether it's a big utensil or the smallest of utensils. Now, it's not to be done at all. I mentioned it's from the major sins. It's from the major sins. But nothing mentions about using them as storage. So this is something to be reviewed. What about storing food? And so that's homework. يعني ادخار القوت يعني الرز والقمح ونحوه في آنية الذهب والفضة. هذا بحث حكم البحث يعني الواجب البحث عن الحكم ادخار القوت والأطعمة المدخرة في الآنية الذهب والفضة. The ruling of storing food in utensils of gold and silver, that's the homework to find out what is the ruling on this.
المضبوط حكم ادخار الغذاء في آنية الذهب والفضة.
نعم. Inshallah. Any questions?
Sorry, you said storing.
No. But the hadith mentions what? Eating and drinking.
يعني not eat, not drink, maybe we can keep it. First, this is business, يعني. Not to translate. Maybe good to.
But you can store to eat and store to not eat. No? Like, you know, like, say like you go get sofa and you have like a bowl and you feed them from that bowl. Or you could just have it.
No, I'm talking about like, for example,
In the cupboard, like holding
Yes.
the rice inside it or something like that?
I think yes. I think because gold is money for future. They should do zakat. And that food, maybe they put in this qamh or sha'ir, whatever. Maybe this gold or fidda. Maybe
You don't pay zakat on it because
no, we should pay zakat after 1 year.
لا ليس هكذا.
احنا وينك هالشكل انا سويت؟ وين ابنك يا جحا هذه؟
If it's gold that's used, not gold that is stored as wealth.
شنو ستورت وورث؟
يعني كالمال.
اوكي.
فليس فيه زكاة. إذا يدخر من أجل القيمة والمال. If it's something that, like, let's say I have gold utensils as gold, not because it's utensils, but it's as gold, as wealth, and I keep it to store it as wealth, then I'm going to pay zakat on it. But if it's not for the case, if it's used, for example, if a woman uses gold and she has gold as wears it as jewelry, she's not going to pay zakat on it. But if it's not worn, it's stored as wealth, then they'll pay zakat on it. No.
Sorry, Ustad, you were just about to say you meant that he's going to differentiate between the two types of storing.
Yeah, so not like, for example, what I would, let's say in my house, I put dates in like a vessel and it's gold. That's not allowed. Because it's not good. I'm talking about, let's say, for example, I'm talking like a barrel that was made out of silver or something like this. I'm going to take food out of it, but I would never serve from it. But like those small little utensils to serve dates from, if that's out of gold and silver, then لا يجوز. No.
So have you just answered the question?
No.
We search.
No, we still have to answer, is it permissible for us to do that?
Search.
How does janazah work if someone died in a horrible accident or war? If they're able to retrieve the body, then you pray the janazah on them as normal. No. If not, then you can praise janazah al-ghaib, the absent janazah. If they're shaheed, they're not washed. No. Any other questions? طيب. So نكتفي بهذا إن شاء الله. We'll stop here today and we'll continue with the new chapter of Bab al-Anya next week inshallah ta'ala. Alright, Assalamu alaikum. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.